Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jadi di video kali ini saya akan membahas tentang cloud computing dan big data. Sebelumnya perkenalkan, nama saya Astri Wahyuningrum dengan nomor NIM 20 12 23 10 34. Nah, di sini saya membuat video ini untuk memenuhi tugas ulangan tengah semester tahun ajaran 2024-2025. Jadi di video ini saya akan mengulas tentang konsep, solusi, dan contoh aplikasinya dengan fokus pada penyimpanan cloud serta layanan big data berbasis cloud yang inovatif. Jadi dalam cloud dan big data sekarang itu menjadi fondasi bagi banyak organisasi dalam mengelola dan memanfaatkan data secara efisien. Jadi dengan memahami materi yang akan saya bawakan ini, kita semua akan mendapatkan gambaran lengkap bagaimana teknologi ini dapat diterapkan untuk mendukung kebutuhan bisnis maupun riset di era digital. Lalu selanjutnya, kalian tahu nggak sih apa itu cloud computing? Nah, di sini saya akan membahas tentang definisi, manfaat, dan model layanan. Jadi, yang pertama, saya akan memahami apa itu cloud computing. Jadi, cloud computing adalah layanan komputasi yang disediakan melalui internet dengan skalabilitas tinggi dan akses yang sangat mudah. Jadi artinya kita semua itu tidak perlu lagi memiliki server fisik sendiri, cukup gunakan layanan cloud dan kita bisa mengakses sumber daya komputasi dari mana saja dan kapan saja. Nah, untuk manfaat utama dari cloud computing ini, yang pertama efisien, fleksibilitas, biaya yang lebih rendah, serta akses global. Contohnya seperti perusahaan startup tidak perlu investasi besar untuk membeli server. Jadi mereka bisa mulai dengan kapasitas kecil di cloud dan meningkatkannya seiring pertumbuhan bisnis. Lalu cloud computing juga hadir dalam beberapa model layanan. Yang pertama ada infrastruktur as a service. Jadi di sini kalian bisa menyewa infrastruktur seperti server, storage, dan jaringan. Contohnya seperti Amazon EC2, Google Computer Engine, dan Azure VM. Lalu yang kedua ada platform as a service. Di sini kalian bisa mendapatkan platform siap pakai untuk membangun aplikasi tanpa perlu mengelola infrastruktur. Contohnya seperti Google App Engine, AWS Elastic Beanstalk, Azure App Service. Lalu ada software as a service. Di sini kalian bisa menggunakan aplikasi siap pakai yang diakses via internet seperti Gmail, Office 365, atau Salesforce. Nah, dengan model-model tersebut, organisasi bisa memilih solusi yang paling sesuai dengan kebutuhan masing-masing, baik untuk pengembangan aplikasi, penyimpanan data, maupun penggunaan aplikasi bisnis. Dan lebih detail penjelasannya selanjutnya ada video referensi dari channel YouTube Amazon Web Service.
Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources via the internet, with pay-as-you-go pricing. Instead of buying, owning, and maintaining physical data centers and servers, you can access technology services such as computing power, storage, and databases on an as-needed basis from a cloud provider like Amazon Web Services. Organizations of every type, size, and industry are using the cloud for a wide variety of use cases, such as data backup, disaster recovery, email, virtual desktops, software development and testing, big data analytics, and customer-facing web applications. For example, healthcare companies are using the cloud to develop more personalized treatments for patients. Financial services companies are using the cloud to power real-time fraud detection and prevention. And video game makers are using the cloud to deliver online games to millions of players around the world. With cloud computing, your business can become more agile, reduce costs, instantly scale, and deploy globally in minutes. Cloud computing gives you instant access to a broad range of technologies, so you can innovate faster and build nearly anything you can imagine. From infrastructure services such as compute, storage, and databases, to Internet of Things, machine learning, data analytics, and much more. You can deploy technology services in a matter of minutes and get from idea to implementation several orders of magnitude faster than before. This gives you the freedom to experiment and test new ideas to differentiate customer experiences and transform your business, such as adding machine learning and intelligence to your applications in order to personalize experiences for your customers and improve their engagement. You don't need to make large upfront investments in hardware and overpay for capacity you don't use. Instead, you can trade capital expense for variable expense and only pay for IT as you consume it. With cloud computing, you access resources from the cloud in real time, as they're needed. You can scale these resources up and down to grow or shrink capacity instantly as your business needs change. Cloud computing also makes it easy to expand to new regions and deploy globally in minutes. For example, Amazon Web Services has infrastructure all over the world, so you're able to deploy your application in multiple physical locations in just a few clicks. Putting applications in closer proximity to end users reduces latency and improves their experience. No matter your location, size, or industry, the cloud frees you from managing infrastructure and data centers, so you can focus on what matters most to your business.
Lalu selanjutnya ada pengantar big data, karakteristik, dan tantangan. Nah sekarang mari kita beralih ke big data. Jadi big data adalah istilah untuk kumpulan data yang sangat besar, cepat berubah, dan beragam tipenya. Nah karakteristik utama dari big data ini dikenal dengan istilah 3V. Bahkan kini berkembang menjadi 5V. Nah, apa aja sih dari 5V itu? Yang pertama ada volume. Jadi volume ini data yang dihasilkan sangat besar, bisa mencapai terabyte, petabyte, bahkan lebih dari itu. Selanjutnya ada velocity. Jadi data ini termasuk dengan kecepatan tinggi, misalnya data transaksi online, media sosial, atau sensor IoT. Lalu selanjutnya ada variety. Data ini datang dalam berbagai format teks seperti gambar, video, log, data sensor, dan lainnya. Namun, pengolahan big data ini juga bisa menghadapi tantangan besar. Seperti apa sih tantangannya itu? Nah, tantangannya itu yang pertama seperti pengolahan data yang kompleks. Jadi data ini harus diproses dengan teknologi khusus seperti Hadoop, Spark, atau layanan cloud big data. Lalu keamanan dan privacy. Jadi data besar ini seringkali mengandung informasi sensitif sehingga perlu perlindungan ekstra. Lalu ada kebutuhan infrastruktur kuat. Jadi untuk menyimpan dan memproses data dalam skala besar dibutuhkan infrastruktur yang andal dan scalable. Nah, contoh sederhananya itu seperti perusahaan e-commerce harus bisa mengolah jutaan dari transaksi dan perilaku pelanggan setiap hari. Jadi tanpa teknologi big data, analisis dan pengambilan keputusan akan sangat lambat dan tidak akurat. Berikut ini adalah penjelasan lebih lengkapnya yang saya ambil dari referensi YouTube.
We all use smartphones, but have you ever wondered how much data it generates in the form of texts, phone calls, emails, photos, videos, searches, and music? Approximately 40 exabytes of data gets generated every month by a single smartphone user. Now, imagine this number multiplied by 5 billion smartphone users. That's a lot for our mind to even process, isn't it? In fact, this amount of data is quite a lot for traditional computing systems to handle. And this massive amount of data is what we term as big data. Let's have a look at the data generated per minute on the internet. 2.1 million snaps are shared on Snapchat. 3.8 million search queries are made on Google. 1 million people log on to Facebook. 4.5 million videos are watched on YouTube. 188 million emails are sent. That's a lot of data. So, how do you classify any data as big data? This is possible with the concept of 5 V's: volume, velocity, variety, veracity, and value. Let us understand this with an example from the healthcare industry. Hospitals and clinics across the world generate massive volumes of data. 2,314 exabytes of data are collected annually in the form of patient records and test results. All this data is generated at a very high speed, which attributes to the velocity of big data. Variety refers to the various data types, such as structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. Examples include Excel records, log files, and X-ray images. Accuracy and trustworthiness of the generated data is termed as veracity. Analyzing all this data will benefit the medical sector by enabling faster disease detection, better treatment, and reduced cost. This is known as the value of big data. But how do we store and process this big data? To do this job, we have various frameworks such as Cassandra, Hadoop, and Spark. Let us take Hadoop as an example and see how Hadoop stores and processes big data. Hadoop uses a distributed file system known as Hadoop Distributed File System to store big data. If you have a huge file, your file will be broken down into smaller chunks and stored in various machines. Not only that, when you break the file, you also make copies of it, which goes into different nodes. This way, you store your big data in a distributed way and make sure that even if one machine fails, your data is safe on another. MapReduce technique is used to process big data. A lengthy task A is broken into smaller tasks, B, C, and D. Now, instead of one machine, 3 machines take up each task and complete it in a parallel fashion and assemble the results at the end. Thanks to this, the processing becomes easy and fast. This is known as parallel processing. Now that we have stored and processed our big data, we can analyze this data for numerous applications. In games like Halo 3 and Call of Duty, designers analyze user data to understand at which stage most of the users pause, restart, or quit playing. This insight can help them rework on the storyline of the game and improve the user experience, which in turn reduces the customer churn rate. Similarly, big data also helped with disaster management during Hurricane Sandy in 2012. It was used to gain a better understanding of the storm's effect on the east coast of the U.S., and necessary measures were taken. It could predict the hurricane's landfall 5 days in advance, which wasn't possible earlier. These are some of the clear indications of how valuable big data can be once it is accurately processed and analyzed. So, here's a question for you. Which of the following statements is not correct about Hadoop Distributed File System, HDFS? A. HDFS is the storage layer of Hadoop. B. Data gets stored in a distributed manner in HDFS. C. HDFS performs parallel processing of data. D. Smaller chunks of data are stored on multiple data nodes in HDFS. Give it a thought and leave your answers in the comment section below. 3 lucky winners will receive Amazon gift vouchers. Now that you have learned what big data is, what do you think will be the most significant impact of big data in the future? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, it would only take a few seconds to like and share it. Also to subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet, and hit the bell icon to get instant notifications about our new content. Stay tuned and keep learning.
Lalu selanjutnya ada solusi penyimpanan cloud, AWS S3, Google Cloud Storage, dan Azure. Jadi bagian penting dari cloud computing dan big data ini adalah solusi penyimpanan cloud. Jadi ada 3 pemain utama yang sering digunakan, yaitu AWS S3, Google Cloud Storage, dan Azure Storage. Jadi AWS S3 ini dikenal dengan durabilitas tinggi, integrasi luas dengan layanan AWS, dan skala yang sangat besar. Banyak juga perusahaan besar di dunia yang menggunakan S3 ini untuk menyimpan data penting mereka, mulai dari backup, arsip, hingga data live untuk analitik. Lalu ada Google Cloud Storage yang menawarkan optimasi biaya, performa cepat, serta fitur multi-regional dan cold line yang cocok untuk data arsip. Jadi startup teknologi dan perusahaan AI ini sering memilih Google Cloud Storage karena kemudahan integrasinya dengan layanan analitik Google. Selanjutnya ada Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure Storage ini unggul dalam konektivitas ke ekosistem Microsoft. Jadi keamanannya ini tingkat enterprise dan fleksibilitas hybrid yang memungkinkan integrasi dengan data center on-premise. Jadi ketiga solusi ini menawarkan keamanan, skalabilitas, dan efisiensi biaya yang sangat baik. Jadi ini itu sangat cocok sekali untuk berbagai kebutuhan bisnis, mulai dari skala kecil hingga enterprise. Lalu selanjutnya itu ada perbandingan fitur dan harga penyimpanan cloud. Jadi di sini mari kita bandingkan fitur dan harga dari ketiga penyedia cloud storage yang utama. Nah, yang pertama ini ada durabilitas data. Jadi semua penyedia ini menaruhkan durabilitas dengan data 99,99 sekian persen atau 11 nines. Jadi artinya itu data kalian itu sangat aman dan hampir tidak mungkin hilang. Lalu ada harga per GB-nya. Di AWS S3 ini harganya mulai dari $0,023 per GB. Lalu selanjutnya ada Google Cloud Storage. Harganya itu mulai dari $0,020 per GB. Lalu selanjutnya ada Azure Storage. Harganya itu mulai dari $0,018 per GB. Jadi harga tersebut itu bisa berbeda tergantung kelas penyimpanan region, tapi secara umumnya itu kompetitif. Nah, selanjutnya itu ada region. Jadi ketiga ini menawarkan layanan global. Jadi sehingga data bisa ditempatkan di lokasi terdekat pengguna untuk mengurangi latensi. Lalu ada kebijakan keamanan. Jadi AWS S3 ini dengan enkripsi otomatis, Google Cloud Storage dengan kontrol akses granular, dan si Azure Storage ini dengan compliance ketat sesuai standar industri. Jadi dengan perbandingan yang sudah tadi disebutkan, kalian bisa memilih solusi yang paling sesuai dengan kebutuhan dan anggaran organisasi kalian masing-masing. Selanjutnya ada layanan big data berbasis cloud, ada AWS, Google Cloud, dan Azure. Nah, selain penyimpanan ini, layanan big data berbasis cloud itu juga sangat penting untuk analisis dan pemrosesan data besar. Yang pertama ada AWS Big Data Service, yaitu Amazon EMR untuk pemrosesan data skala besar dengan Hadoop dan Spark. Lalu Kinesis untuk streaming data real time, Redshift untuk data warehouse dan analitik. Lalu ada Google Cloud Big Data. Ini itu ada BigQuery sebagai data warehouse, serverless yang sangat cepat. Lalu Dataflow untuk pemrosesan data batch dan streaming. Lalu ada Dataproc untuk manage Hadoop dan Spark. Lalu selanjutnya ada Azure Big Data, yaitu ada HD Insight untuk ekosistem Hadoop, Spark, dan Hive. Lalu ada Synapse Analytics untuk integrasi data warehouse dan big data, dan Azure Data Lake untuk penyimpanan data mentah skala besar. Nah, layanan tadi itu memungkinkan perusahaan melakukan analitik lanjutan, machine learning hingga real-time analytics tanpa harus membangun infrastruktur sendiri.
Alright, so one question I get asked a lot from job seekers is which cloud platform should I focus my learning on? Is it better to learn AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud? Now, with the three big players battling it out for market share, it can be hard to figure out which one to learn. But the truth is, there isn't really a right answer. Each platform has its own strengths and weaknesses, and at the end of the day, it really depends on your own goals and what you want to achieve. Which is why in this video, I'll be comparing the three major cloud computing platforms so that you can decide for yourself which one to learn. I mean, I'm obviously very biased and love AWS because I previously worked there as a solutions architect for 2 years, but to make sure we're covering all our bases here, let's take a look at these 5 factors. So the first one is market demand, then job opportunities, ecosystem support, unique features, and learning resources. Before we dive in, please make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to this channel to stay updated with cloud learning tips. Alright, let's get into it. So first things first, let's talk about market demand. In today's world, we've all seen that more and more businesses are turning to the cloud for their computing needs, which of course has resulted in a huge surge in demand for professionals with cloud skills. AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud, all three have a strong presence in the cloud computing market, but AWS still remains the leader with 30% market share. This means that there's a high demand for people with AWS skills, making it a great choice for job seekers. Azure comes in second with around 22% market share, and Google Cloud is next with about 9%. Even though these two platforms are smaller than AWS, they are growing very fast, so I still recommend learning them. If you're interested in working for a particular company, you can also do some research to see what cloud platform they use. For example, Netflix uses AWS, Spotify uses Google Cloud, and Coca-Cola is an enterprise customer of Azure. Now, speaking of companies, let's talk about the job opportunities within each platform. As I mentioned earlier, AWS has the highest market demand, meaning that there's a lot of jobs available. In fact, after doing a quick search, I found that there's over 150,000 jobs currently listed on LinkedIn that require AWS skills. Azure and Google Cloud also have a large number of job opportunities with 50,000 and 20,000 jobs listed for each one. My advice is to take a look at the job opportunities in your local area to see which cloud platform is highest in demand. For example, if there's a lot of Azure job openings where you live, then it might be a good idea to learn that. There's also a growing demand for cloud engineers and solutions architects that specialize in more than one platform. This means that if you have skills in 2 clouds, for example, both AWS and Azure, it could make you a better fit for companies that have a multi-cloud setup. But then again, I wouldn't worry too much about that as a beginner, since it's better to have a strong understanding of one cloud rather than a basic knowledge in all of them. Another trend in the job market is the rise of remote work and freelancing opportunities. With the global scale of cloud services, companies are now more open to hiring remote workers and freelancers to work on their projects. This means that you may not have to live in a specific location to secure a high-paying job. So yeah, something else for you to keep in mind. Another factor to consider when choosing a cloud platform is the ecosystem and community support. What I mean by this is the amount of guidance and support from other users or experts within the cloud community. AWS has a very strong ecosystem. There's a wide range of resources available, from extensive documentation to workshops and free online courses. They also have large communities of developers, architects, and other professionals who are willing to share their knowledge. This can be done through forums, meetups, or even conferences like AWS re:Invent. Azure also has a pretty good support network and offers similar resources. Their ecosystem seems to be about the same size as AWS, and they have cool communities like Azure Tech Groups. Google Cloud has a smaller community from what I've seen, but they're quickly building up their resources and ecosystems. This includes documentation, tutorials, conferences, and meetup groups. And so, if you're looking for a cloud provider with a well-established ecosystem and community, I would recommend either AWS or Azure. Before we move on to the next factor to consider, I'd like to introduce you to DataStax. Now, if you haven't heard of DataStax, they're a company that provides real-time vector data tools that generative AI apps need. Their product, AstraDB, is a great vector database for building production-level AI applications on real-time data. With AstraDB, you get up to 18% more relevant vector search results, 8 times to 15 times higher throughput, and can request responses up to 12 times faster. Not to mention, the database as a service integrates seamlessly with Azure, AWS, and GCP, and can run on all of those clouds at the same time. And so, if you're looking for a highly performant, efficient database service to handle vector, non-vector, and concurrent streaming data, I would recommend choosing AstraDB. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Thank you DataStax for sponsoring this video. Okay, another important factor to consider is the unique features and services offered by each cloud provider. Let's dive into each one to see what sets them apart. AWS is known for its incredibly extensive list of services. There's over 200 fully featured services available, and this includes products like Amazon EC2 for compute, S3 for storage, and Amazon RDS for databases. What also sets AWS apart is the specialized services for certain use cases. For example, Amazon Rekognition is a powerful tool they have for image and video analysis. Azure also has a large number of products and services with over 200 available. Some cool services they have include Azure Cognitive Services for AI and machine learning, Azure Functions for event-driven computing, and Azure DevOps for CI/CD pipeline operations. One big advantage of using Azure is the integration they have with Microsoft products like Office 365. This means that if a company is already using Microsoft tools, they might choose to go with Azure. Google Cloud may not have as many services as AWS or Azure, but they do offer some pretty unique ones. For example, Google BigQuery is a great data warehousing and analytics solution. I personally also find that the Google Cloud interface is really nice and user-friendly, making it easy to navigate around. The final factor to consider when choosing between AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud is the availability of learning resources and training programs. Sometimes I hear people asking what is the easiest cloud to learn, but the truth is none of them are easy. No matter what platform you end up choosing, there'll always be a learning curve involved. I wouldn't worry too much about this final factor because all three programs have some pretty good free resources to help you get started. For example, AWS has AWS Skill Builder, Azure has Microsoft Learn, and Google Cloud has the Google Cloud Skills Boost. As long as you're willing to invest time into learning the fundamentals, you can become proficient in any of these three cloud platforms. Alright, so this brings us to the end of the video. I hope now you have a better understanding of which cloud platform to learn. If you're interested in starting your cloud learning journey this year, make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out my other videos for more cloud learning tips. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Dan ini adalah contoh penggunaan analisis data pelanggan di cloud. Jadi bagaimana sih penerapan cloud dan data dalam dunia nyata ini? Nah, coba mari kita lihat contoh analisis data pelanggan di cloud. Yang pertama ada pengumpulan data. Nah, data pelanggan dikumpulkan dari berbagai sumber seperti website, aplikasi mobile, transaksi, hingga media sosial. Lalu ada pengolahan data, yaitu platform cloud ini digunakan untuk membersihkan, menggabungkan, dan mengelola data sehingga siap dianalisis. Lalu ada analisis dan visualisasi. Jadi data ini dianalisis untuk mendeteksi tren, melakukan segmentasi pelanggan, dan memberikan rekomendasi pemasaran yang personal. Nah, dengan workflow seperti ini, perusahaan itu dapat meningkatkan pengalaman pelanggan, menyesuaikan promosi, dan meningkatkan penjualan secara signifikan. Lalu ada keamanan data di cloud untuk big data. Nah, keamanan data ini itu adalah aspek yang sangat penting dalam cloud dan big data. Yang pertama ada enkripsi data. Data dienkripsi itu saat disimpan at rest maupun saat ditransmisikan in transit, sehingga aman dari akses tidak sah. Lalu ada kontrol akses. Nah, manajemen hak akses pengguna ini dilakukan secara ketat, dilengkapi audit trail untuk memantau setiap aktivitas. Lalu ada backup dan redundansi, yaitu data ini direplikasi ke beberapa lokasi berbeda, sehingga jika terjadi gangguan di satu lokasi, data tetap aman dan tersedia. Nah, dengan fitur-fitur tadi itu, perusahaan dapat memastikan data sensitif tetap terlindungi, memenuhi standar keamanan dan regulasi yang berlaku. Selanjutnya ada studi kasus, implementasi cloud dan big data yang sukses. Nah, Berikut beberapa studi kasus sukses implementasi cloud dan big data. Yang pertama, perusahaan retail global. Nah, mereka ini melakukan migrasi data pelanggan ke cloud, lalu menganalisis data tersebut untuk personalisasi promosi. Jadi hasilnya itu tingkat konversi dan loyalitas pelanggan jadi meningkat. Lalu ada startup teknologi. Startup ini memanfaatkan layanan Big Data Cloud untuk menganalisis data sensor dan IoT secara real time. Jadi dengan insight yang telah didapat itu, mereka bisa meningkatkan performa produk dan layanan secara cepat. Lalu ada institusi keuangan. Nah, lembaga keuangan ini menggunakan solusi cloud khusus untuk data yang sensitif, meningkatkan keamanan dan kepatuhan terhadap regulasi. Jadi mereka juga mampu mendeteksi fraud lebih cepat dan akurat. Nah, studi kasus ini bisa menunjukkan bahwa cloud dan big data dapat diterapkan di berbagai sektor dari retail, teknologi hingga keuangan dengan hasil yang nyata. Lalu yang terakhir ada kesimpulan. Jadi kesimpulannya itu kita bisa melihat bahwa cloud computing dan big data ini bisa membuka peluang yang sangat besar untuk inovasi bisnis dan efisiensi operasional. Adopsi teknologi ini juga harus diiringi dengan kebijakan keamanan yang kuat dan investasi berkelanjutan pada sumber daya manusia serta infrastruktur. Jadi dengan memanfaatkan cloud dan big data, organisasi bisa beradaptasi lebih cepat terhadap perubahan pasar, mengambil keputusan berbasis data, dan meraih keunggulan kompetitif. Jadi mari kita manfaatkan potensi luar biasa ini untuk mendukung transformasi digital yang sukses di masa depan. Sekian video yang saya sampaikan, kurang lebihnya mohon maaf. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.